So the Washington Post is in like a slippery downfall, probably to its end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hemorrhaging.
Well-deserved, I would
It's
say.
disgusting.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
It's worse than the New York Times.
Ooh, well.
I know.
We'd have to really think that one through. I mean, the New York Times is unbelievably horrible, but there's something
honestly,
particularly perverse, yeah.
Still readable.
Yeah.
Like, you read it and you see it's biased and you know you're getting misled. The Washington Post has turned into Slate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgusting now. And it has been this way for a couple of years. So you'll be shocked to learn they're hemorrhaging readers.
Yeah.
They're leaving in droves. And it's not like they had a huge Republican base to begin with. But, you know, even the moderate readers seem to have said, you're too much for me. Even I have said that. And I'm in news and get paid to consume it. I'm like, you're too much for me. So the New York Times reported in July of 2023 that the Washington Post was on pace to lose about $100 million last year. Then in October of this past fall, the Washington Post offered buyouts to cut staff by almost 240 employees. They cannot increase their number of paying customers since the 2020 election. They peaked at 3 million subscribers back then. They're now down by 500,000 and counting. It's just going down and down and down. Like, these are dreadful numbers for the Washington Post. And now there was a meeting on Monday, today's Tuesday, where the publisher, Will Lewis, and the new interim executive editor, Matt Murray, met with staff. And they got rid of the Sally Busby, who had led the paper for the past couple of years, and made a shocking announcement. Okay, guess who's coming in to lead the paper?
Oh, I actually don't know.
Count them. Not one, not two, not three. 4 white men.
Oh, God. During Pride Month?
Yes.
White men.
White men. They're
God.
white and they're men. And one of them was the leader of the Wall Street Journal prior to this. Oh, my God.
I think my analogy of a dinosaur in the tar pits is pretty on point.
Yes.
That is what these things, they have grown so large. They've been so negligent to what their job is of doing the news and doing it honestly. How is it, you and I are not wizards. How is it that we've largely gotten the big things right over the years, or didn't fall for all of the hoaxes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how is it that I didn't fall for all of the COVID stuff? How is it that I didn't fall for Donald Trump, very fine people on both sides? How is it that I didn't think Brett Kavanaugh was a serial rapist, or that the Covington kids were racist, or that Jussie Smollett was lynched? Why is it that you and I didn't fall for all those? Is it that we're so brilliant? Or is it that the media lies about everything, and then once you see it, you've peered behind the curtain, then just know it. And what's happening is more and more people are seeing it. So their own readers are finally like, my God, this is not a newspaper.
These are charlatans.
Maybe they never were. Who knows now? Don't you think that a little bit? Like, we always like to think, 20, 30 years ago, or Walter Cronkite before that, or Tom Brokaw, or something like that it was better. Maybe it really wasn't, and just our ability to get information was so controlled that it wasn't. But at this point, it's why when guys like Chris Cuomo, who I think I'm seeing later today, I'm going to do his show at his house, which seems that will be a very different vibe than what we're doing here.
Good luck with that.
But it's like when he leaves CNN, it's like nobody cares about him anymore. Or Don Lemon, he leaves because the chair meant something at those places. But what they were doing were just acting as propagandists. And that's what's happening at the Washington Post. You guys get all of this big stuff wrong. Eventually people wake up.
Yeah, and don't want to be misled anymore.
Yeah.
So, of
or at
course,
least pay for it,
Here's the funny thing. So now they're bringing in the most competent people. That's their explanation.
White people.
White men, my God. That's how desperate they are. And of course, they're having a revolt.
Yeah.
Right? The Washington Post staffers are outraged. First of all, the New York Times scooped the Post on this story. They got their story up before the Washington Post got its story
That's
up
hilarious.
about its own
Yeah.
reshuffling, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And the reaction by one reporter at the meeting to finding out 4 white guys were going to be leading the Post now was, everyone was shocked with your email last night. The reporter suggested the most cynical interpretation sort of feels like you chose 2 of your buddies to come in and help run the Post, and we now have 4 white men running 3 newsrooms. This guy, Lewis, admitted it's not great and vowed to do better going forward. What about women? Later in the meeting, another reporter asked Lewis whether any women or people of color were interviewed and seriously considered for these positions. A question that prompted applause. Yeah, there's got to be a more qualified female or person of color. Look at these guys, so pale and so penisy. Lewis said there will be significant opportunities within the news organization for them. But no, he's not going to get into the details. Then he delivers the following hard truth. He was asked whether he was intentionally bringing in people who come from a different culture than the Post, like the Wall Street Journal and all the whiteness.
Oh, yes.
And this is what he said. We are losing large amounts of money. Your audience has halved in recent years. People are not reading your stuff. I can't sugarcoat it anymore. So I've had to take decisive, urgent action to set us on a different path, sourcing talent that I have worked with that are the best of the best. Then somebody comes out, one other thing says, don't we need our brilliant social journalists and service journalists? What is a service journalist?
What is that?
And he says, look, you haven't been able to do it. I've listened to the platitudes. It's just not happening. Amazing.
It's so incredible watching wokeness eat itself and destroy itself. You know what this is? Did you see the video? I'm sure you saw it a couple days ago I think it was at Philly Pride, where the Hamas supporters got in it with the gays at an intersection. And it was like, oh, this is the end of intersectionality. We'll end at an intersection. And this is the same thing. It's like, you guys went woke, so the newspaper starts basically pushing leftist propaganda instead of truth. And now you have to fix it. And you think that only if we have the right diverse crew, if I bring in a black lesbian publisher, that somehow it'll fix things. Nobody is against black lesbian publishers, but give me people who are competent and can work, because otherwise everything will collapse.
Right.
Literally everything. We will have planes falling out of the sky because we will have unqualified people doing things. It's just true. So they're all getting what they deserve. And I can only imagine, what do you think Jeff Bezos is thinking about this whole thing?
I mean,
because he can pour cash all over it for the rest of his life.
Let him do that then. If that's what you want to do, then keep just doing diversity hires and see what happens to your paper.
Yeah.
It's going to look a lot like what just happened to its paper. You know, the person they just got rid of was a woman.
Penisy.
White
White
penisy people. And they've realized they might actually be the answer to competent management at the Post. But it's amazing to listen to this guy, Lewis, say to them, like, flat out, it didn't work your way. We tried it. You're basically going to get fired. You'll lose your job if we continue just hiring people who are incompetent to run the paper. So it's my way or the highway. It'll be really interesting to see what happens to the Post now. See if it's too late to save them. Do
you know the line I quote it all the time from Michael Malice? The corporate press is the enemy of the people. That's one of his good lines. And it's like, that's what they have become.
That's a Trump line.
So, maybe Trump. I think he slightly altered it from. Well, Trump. No, it was just like
corporate.
It was maybe corporate. But that they are all getting what they deserve at this point. You know what I mean? I have no sympathy.
No, me neither.
Like the Media Matters people that all just got laid off.
We were talking about that.
Like, yes, incredible. Like,
enjoy your retirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Media Matters for America is this disgusting organization, the audience knows, whose only mission is to just destroy conservatives who are in the public space.
I'm an alt-right homophobe.
Or media space. An alt-right homophobe.
Yeah,
you must be self-loathing.
I am homophobic, but it's only because I'm married to a guy, which it can be it's a lot.
It depends on the homo.
Yeah, I'm homophobic for one person. Yeah.
No, I know that those leftists are always saying I have internalized misogyny. Yeah. Whenever I criticize a woman, it's my internalized misogyny working in a.
No, it's dripping off you right now.
I don't hate all women, just quite a few.
It's just some
in left-wing media.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, it's wonderful to see Media Matters for America go down and their people get fired, and I hope they never work in quote media again. Not that what they were doing was media. And I have zero sympathy for the Washington Post. Have you seen the garbage they're pushing in some public schools? Leftist propaganda, gender bending, race baiting, DEI indoctrination. What happened to real education? Parents, listen up. Many teachers are coming from leftist universities where they're taught by Marxist professors who want to indoctrinate our children. But I want to tell you about Freedom Project Academy, or FPA. FPA offers online learning with live, on-demand, and homeschool courses for students K through 12. Freedom Project Academy was built on Judeo-Christian values and classical curriculum. Students read books, they write in cursive, they study the full scope of history, the way it used to be. Right now, save 10% on tuition when you enroll at freedom4school.com. That's freedom4, F-O-R, school.com. You can check out their fully accredited courses, teachers, and request a free information packet. We can't afford to hand over another generation to the left. Take back your child's education at Freedom Project Academy. freedomforschool.com. That's freedomforschool.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.